Denise here with Weicker Realtors of Space Place. We appreciate you guys tuning in to the Real Estate Rundown with Richard Neese and Dominic Gill. We got Chris Cotton, Bruce Vick, Kathy Gray, my wife Catherine Neese, Joe Johnson. Thank you guys for getting on here. Thank you. Dominic.
Yes, sir. Just working on a few little things while I'm talking, so.
Is that what you usually wear? What that guy had on?
What's that?
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that guy. That guy. We got John Hart on here, Aaron Ayers, Matt Weaver. So the Real Estate Rundown is a way for us to help good people get to a better place. We have a radio show by the same name at 10 a.m. on WKUL. But we want to give you information about buying, about selling, about investing, sometimes a little motivation, sometimes a little humor. You know, we add some different things in there. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Please share, please comment, please like. We're not limited to what we're talking about. If you guys want to know about investment property, we're talking about first-time home buyers.
Right.
Put your comment in there. We'll answer it, no problem. Hey, John, we appreciate you getting on here. Marcus McCluskey, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So today we're talking about
agency
and representation and protecting your best interest.
That's right. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the weekend. We had a pretty good weekend.
Yes.
We had the Blumenfest blowout. I don't know if you guys saw some of our social media stuff we were putting out there, dropping some new stuff, mobile now. So I'm pretty excited about that. Because speaking of dropping,
do it!
You had a little issue. Oh,
Just
we won't
do
about
it!
Never mind.
we dropped it. We dropped it. That's right. That's right.
Oh goodness! But anyways, we were putting out some new stuff. It was a great time, great turnout. Even though we had a rainy day on Sunday, we had some good traffic come through. Thank you guys for the hearts and the
Chris Green
the
just giving us the love today. Chris Green.
I know. Oh, we're dropping all kinds of stuff on there. You're getting so fancy now.
I'm getting fancy, you know.
So fancy.
You know what? That's
we
right.
We ended up having 9 open houses over the weekend. It was a pretty good turnout. We had 2 new constructions that were being completed. We still got a punch list on those, but we're trying to get them done so people can get out there. We're really working on affordable housing for people.
Yes.
I mean, we're trying to get some price points where most everybody can work with it. That they can get a new house in their budget. Because right now, I mean, old houses are even expensive. I'm seeing stuff that I never thought would even appraise that are getting full price offers. They're getting over asking price in our area, in smaller areas. I mean, it's pretty incredible what I've been seeing. So we've been trying to put out some new stuff with
So if you're thinking about putting your house on the market, now's the right time to do it. You just need to do it.
Just do
it.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had to drop it again on you, Richard. Gotta understand, on our end, he has no idea that's even happening. He's just looking at me. Because it drops, we don't hear it, you know. Right. But so I see what's going on, and he's just looking at me like I'm a fool. Well, but that's one of my favorite memes of all time.
You know, we're definitely low on inventory. We're trying to put new houses out. We good? We too loud over there?
Yeah, we're too loud.
I got you. Now we're going to sweat a little bit.
That's right.
That's no problem. But representation is important. We're trying to put new houses out there, but we're also looking for new listings, even if it's an older home. If you're looking to get top dollar, right now's the time to do it.
Yes.
You know, everybody is scrounging for that newest listing popping out, so you got to make sure you get it out there. We want to get the most exposure for your home, whether that's through traditional advertising, whether it's through the radio, whether it's social media, whatever the case might be. We're constantly pushing to get more people, more eyes on. I think we ended up with 15,000 people that saw just on Facebook the houses that we're putting out.
Yep.
Pretty incredible. We got Shane Wood on here, brother. You need to come take a look at that house in Good Hope. I think you'll like it. It's similar to the one we looked at in Vinemont, but I think you'll really like it. Zach Thomas got on here. Kimmy Golden, thank you guys so much. Representation.
Yes.
So representation is huge because most people don't even realize if they're being represented or not in a real estate transaction.
Absolutely.
And that's a problem. It really is.
Right, and it's not just a fancy word that us realtors use. It has a real meaning behind it, and it's something that's very important, especially when you're guiding you through a legal transaction.
Absolutely.
Having a representation is something that you should look for whenever you're coordinating any kind of.
And somebody told me once that you don't need representation just to walk through the grocery store.
No, you don't.
But
you don't.
If you're getting a real estate transaction, if you're buying land, if you're buying,
but if you're trying to sue that grocery store,
you might need representation. That's right.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys jumping on here, Larissa Kleckler. Please share, please comment, please like. We need the engagement. We want to make sure that we're answering the questions that you guys want answered.
Yes.
We're talking a little bit about representation because we constantly see it over and over again. People come into a real estate transaction, they don't even realize they're being represented or not.
Right.
Like I've seen several times where you get a RECAD form which explains representation, and they'll circle one of them and say, we're just doing the paperwork for you.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're leaving you out there, not buying or selling. Even if you're an experienced buyer or seller, they're leaving you out there to figure it out on your own. They're not representing you. All they're doing is the paperwork.
Absolutely. And I was one of those different type of agents. I'm sure there's many agents that do that, but even if I was representing the transaction as a transaction broker throughout it, I still did my best to make sure that any kind of research, anything that needed to be done to make sure the transaction went smoothly to help out either the buyer's needs, because it's typically a buyer situation whenever you're on a transaction brokerage.
Rarely is there a time when the seller is represented as a transaction broker.
Rarely.
And there are occasions in investment properties and things like that where they may be represented in that manner. But if you see a house on the MLS, on Trulia, on Zillow, on Realtor.com, they're being represented to the fullest extent to begin with.
Right.
When you go in an open house, it's the same thing.
Yep.
The seller's being represented. Once you start talking about real estate, any valuable information as far as real estate goes, pertinent information, at that point you should be recatted.
Yeah,
that's right.
You're supposed to disclose the relationships that you're going to have with that agent, with the customer. At that point, who was a customer at that time.
That's right.
And before they become a client, which in order for them to be a client, they have to form an agency.
Yep, and there's plenty of great realtors out there that maybe overrepresent sometimes too. That can be a problem. Most people wouldn't think that, but like you were saying with the transaction brokerage, technically if you're working with a seller and you're representing the buyer in the transaction brokerage role, any information that's pertinent that could give your seller the advantage,
you're supposed to disclose it.
You should disclose it.
Yes.
I mean, that's actually how it's supposed to work. That's not wrong. That's what the relationship is.
Right.
Whereas in a limited consensual dual agency, which means you're representing both sides, you're giving them information on both sides, but you're not giving any privy information that would put one or the other at a disadvantage.
Right. You're just basically you are handing paperwork off back and forth between the two of them, and then giving them guidance in the form of what they should do based on their situation, not based on what you think the other people are going to do.
That's exactly right. And the worst type of representation I've seen is when the agent is representing themselves. So basically, they're not representing anybody. And this isn't a category, but you have agents that do this.
Right.
I mean, all they care about is their commission, whatever bonus they're getting. When they're truly not representing you or representing you as a transaction brokerage, man, it can be a bad spot for you because they don't care if there's any, like with the land deal. I mean, they don't care if there's any ordinances or they don't really care anything about that. All they care about is getting to the closing table and doing the paperwork properly.
Right.
As long as the paperwork's done properly, they can't be sued because they're not representing you.
Yeah, absolutely. They're sitting back. They said, I just performed the task of what I was instructed to do. And nothing else.
So if you're buying or selling a home, wouldn't you want somebody in your corner?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you want somebody watching out for you? I mean,
and it'll cost you anything.
Well, on the buyer side, it doesn't cost you anything. In most cases, right.
The buyers don't cost you anything. The seller is a little different circumstance because there is a negotiating with the commission and stuff.
But there's agreed upon terms as well on the seller side. So on the seller side, I always talk to my folks and I say, look, there's a couple ways I can represent you. I can represent you as solely your agent. But most people that come in as buyers don't want to be represented as a transaction broker.
Right.
So they want to have that limited consensual protection. And most people understand. I'm not going to tell the buyers what my seller's bottom dollar is, and I'm not going to tell my sellers what my buyer's top dollar is.
Right.
We let them negotiate. Randy, I appreciate it, brother. There's so many folks out there that are just looking to turn a dollar, just looking to make a little money, and it's sad because it brings down the rest of the.
It gives
the profession.
It gives the good realtors a bad name.
Absolutely.
Because a negative experience sticks a lot longer with somebody than a positive experience.
Exactly right.
People will always remember that, and they'll forget about the good stuff before they'll forget about the bad stuff on it.
Dominic looks good, but those flags look better at the house. Oh my gosh!
I still got to replace that flag.
Can we ban that guy?
No, he's good. Go Tigers! That's right, Clay. That's right.
That's
but when it comes down to Richard's team, what I normally say is,
no, God! No, God, please, no! No!
What did you put on there?
No! No!
Oh my gosh! Dominic, you are killing me tonight. I'm gonna take
That's
the
how I feel
screen
every
away
day
from
whenever I go out, and then I just see those A's everywhere. So,
Clay says the people that matter most don't forget how you get paid. That's right.
Right.
And that's one thing that you push for as an agent is to find those people that appreciate you for the skill sets that you have. And I'll tell folks all the time, if my only skill is to open up a door, turn a key, I really don't deserve to be paid for that.
No,
but
not
there's
really.
so much more to that. I had some folks asking me for some advice on a transaction and saying, hey, what about closing costs and what about this and what about that? And I said, you need an agent to represent you. If you don't know this stuff, you
Absolutely.
need. And they said, oh, well, we didn't think about that.
Right.
And so now I'm working with them, and I can negotiate for them. I can work through the process for them. And that's the biggest thing is protecting their interest. And like you said, most of the time, they don't even have to pay me.
No.
I mean, why wouldn't you do that? And that's what kills me so much about folks that just call the listing agent or just call whoever a sign
just a regular sign past the listing agent.
Well, not to be too specific,
Well, I want to share that story eventually.
Well, we will. But, I'm not saying that these are bad agents by any means.
No.
But you put yourself at a disadvantage if you don't even know the realtor that's representing you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like to think of myself as a full-time professional.
Right.
And there's folks out there that may be new in the business, and maybe they have a great support team behind them, or maybe they don't.
Right.
So wouldn't you want to vet that to find out if this person actually knows what they're doing?
Absolutely. I mean, I do. Whenever I go to a doctor or anything, I want to make sure, I'm not going to go and get a PhD in the process of doing it, but I'm going to do the basic research
Absolutely.
and question them and grill them just to make sure that they're going to give me the right kind of care and
You
treatment.
pull up WebMD and look up.
Well, I mean, we do that too.
I know.
But I'm just saying, in general, I want to make sure that person who's handling my body is going to be qualified because I'm invested in my body. You're going to be invested in your house. You want to make sure the person who's navigating and helping you through that transaction has your best interest at heart, and that's where representation fully means on that all.
That's absolutely right, and that's what I preach to folks. There's a lot of good agents out there that can help you through the process. Please don't go unrepresented. There was one couple that I worked with, Debbie and Rob, and I'll tell you, they came to me. They were looking at buying a mobile home, and so they went through a mobile home financing company. Well, when they ended up coming back around and wanting to buy a house, and when they did, they brought the closing costs to me, and their closing costs were almost $11,000.
What?
Which is 2.5 times what the normal cost is. We were sitting down writing an offer because I thought, well, they've got their financing lined up. We've got a pre-approval letter. They showed me what the costs were going to be, and I said, we really need to look at this because these folks are really geared towards the mobile home, manufactured homes.
Right.
And so they've got a lot more fees built in. And then we actually got it down to $3,500 on the closing cost. I mean, I saved them $7,000, almost $8,000 on it.
Right.
Because
if
I had
you
the
use a
experience.
realtor, it could possibly save you $8,000 in buying
That's
a
right.
mobile home.
Is that just do it.
Just do it. It's more than that.
You
That's
are-
right.
You are killing me.
I've been dying to be dropping these things forever.
I'm
I've been
going to
like,
take this away from him. So let's get some comments and see. Maybe next time it can be on cue. Whenever.
well, I'm forcing it. I told you before, I said I'm not going to force it today, and then I'm here like trying to.
Just walking into
I'm
it.
trying to make it happen.
Walking
And it's
in.
just,
You got Brett
exactly.
Campbell, Stephanie Childers, Susan Black. Everyone needs to come to the next DWIFT retreat. Let us help you. Real Estate Rundown, Bama, Neeson Associates. Dominic wins. I like it. We've had a lot of people interested in that. We've actually got some speakers lined up on the next DWIFT event once we set the date on it. Had some folks coming in. Justin Dyer, he's talking about coming in and showing folks that simply getting out there and marketing in simple ways, signage and a website can be huge, and most people don't realize that. Chris Cotton, stop laugh. You're encouraging him. You're encouraging him.
Y'all decide whether or not.
Let's
drop
see,
it in the memes.
Let's see
drop
thumbs
it in the
up
memes.
if you want Dominic to continue. And then
Believe me,
the
there were
mad
so many
faces.
There were so many I wanted to do that I wanted to drop it here.
Do
It's just
the
time was a
mad
factor.
faces if you want
Time
to see
was
this
a factor.
stop. Miss Kathy, I know you. Hey, Susan. We got David Swigert just jumped on
I
here.
still have another one that I haven't dropped yet.
We
too.
do need the Reading Rainbow. What do you think about that?
I gotta do Reading Rainbow. That's gonna be a great one.
Clay, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. We enjoy doing this show. We have a little bit of fun with it. We also want to give you guys information. Representation is no joke. You need to have somebody taking care of you. You're not going to go to court and not have representation. Why would you go to the real estate table or the closing table and not have representation?
You can go to the grocery store without representation.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
So, but you got to protect yourself. We got a couple laughs on here. I'm not seeing the mad faces, so I guess you can continue.
That's right.
Take me
Miss
outside.
Kathy got
How
a
about
mad face.
that?
She called you out on that one. But the representation is huge. We want to protect
Chris?
your best interest and make sure.
All right. I'm done.
Make sure you guys know who's representing. You know, I'm not saying it has to be a 30-year vet. Some folks that have been in a couple years may know as much as those 30-year veterans. But make sure you have somebody that at least knows what they're talking about or has a support staff that can help them. You know, I'm blessed to be at Wacker Realtors, a space place. We have a broker that's been doing it for quite some time, and she's on point. I mean, she knows her stuff when it comes to contracts. She knows representation, and she pushes that on to her people because, I mean, that's how
It
she
still counts
leads.
as one vote, Miss Kathy. Okay, there's 2 votes with Catherine.
I got a couple there. I think it's enough for tonight, Dom.
That's right.
But it's important. Like with Brenda, she takes care of the newer agents and the more seasoned agents, and make sure that we're on point with the new changes because it's important to have that continuous learning. And we got tons of laughs. I don't know if this is a comedy show or if this is a real estate show. What's going on here?
I mean, they go to you for professionalism. They go for me because I just like to, be silly.
You're getting
They're fighting right now. They're going at it. Chris.
You're getting voted off the island, man. You're getting voted off the island. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's see what else we have. With representation, we also had. So speaking of Miss Kathy, take me outside like to Smith Lake. Oh no!
I dropped it. You missed it. I dropped it.
You are killing me, man. You are killing. What night of the girls? Oh yeah, that's right.
And I will have control of the pad.
I don't know if they're going to give you that.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll have to be careful on that one. One thing I did want to point out is today is I believe it's a Superhero Day, Administrative Assistant Day. With those folks that are always taking care of my Miss Kathy is a
Well,
lifesaver.
Casey, if you want to see what the mad faces are about, I can drop it again. You know.
Take me outside. How about that?
People
You're
they don't
killing me.
love my sense of humor. People.
You're killing me. But like I said, this is a Superhero Day. It's Admin Assistant Day, and
No, Superhero Day is tomorrow. Superhero Day is tomorrow when the Avengers drop because I'm going to be in line.
we're not going to take anything away from.
My phone will be off and I will be out of commission for about 2.5 hours. So
Yeah, I think Miss
just a
Kathy would
warning.
probably like you to be out of commission from Wednesday from about 7:30 until 8:30. That's what
Right.
she's shooting
Yeah.
for.
She's going to try to get me fired.
She's
so.
giving you a hard time tonight. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We like to keep it light, that's for sure, and also give you a little bit of information. Richard Bailey, Kevin Knight, Dustin Hembry. If you guys didn't get a chance, you're just tuning in, make sure you watch it again so you can hear about representation and also see all these great memes that Dominic's dropping, which I have no idea what he's putting on here. So, Dominic, go ahead and
Y'all have a
finish
good
it up.
night.